Hi, Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute pleasure to speak to both of you. Thanks so
Hi.
much for taking the time. I am hook, line, and sinker addicted to this show. I think as a lifelong period drama fan, it really sort of delivers on those beats. But I just love how it's got this really kind of contemporary energy to it, whether in the bold costumes and music or how raunchy it is. And it does feel like in the second season, everything's just dialed up to 11. What can fans expect going in?
Yeah, you said it so well. Christina said it's season one on steroids, and I think that's so true.
Yeah, it's like that so much happens and it happens fast.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't believe when I started getting the scripts. I was like, "Wait, who's got him? What happened?
I know,
This person's
I know,
here, and
I
this
know.
and I was like, "Everyone, fill me in! Like, this is like it. It's, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, it's a page turner for real."
And do you think that's partly to do with the fact that obviously because we're going beyond the end of what Edith Wharton had written? So yes, we're working with the basis of those characters and this setting, but there's a bit of freedom now to kind of explore different avenues with these characters. So yeah, maybe even you were surprised about where the writers decided to take it.
Definitely. I mean, there were three different alternatives that I knew about, and each episode would kind of get closer to one of them, and it was just very much I was on my toes. But the creatives just really found it in the end, and it was exciting to not really know and just be super present with each episode.
And really, really strong and beautiful storylines for all the different characters. Really beautiful writing. Like Conchita, I think has like some really incredible scenes, and just like I just feel like they really each character really got a really rich story.
And coming to each of your characters, for you, Christine, seeing Nan's evolution. So she's always been a disruptor, but she's gone from being kind of this outsider to being right now at the center of aristocracy. But underneath this veneer of success, of course, there's so much else going on. And she is yearning for Guy and wondering how to sort of navigate that duality. So, how did you approach playing all of that?
Oh, I love how you phrased that.
I know. I was like,
That
wow,
was-
you really know the story.
Yeah, you really, you
I
really.
love it.
That was so beautiful. Yes, I mean, it's hard to speak about it without spoiling anything, but I definitely think the choice she makes in the end is the right choice for herself, and that's what I was really proud about. I think season one, there's so much unraveling and lost sense of identity, and then she gets stuck in these love triangles that I don't think came about in the right reasons. I think if the circumstances were different, they would have evolved very differently. So I think at the end of season two, she makes a choice for herself, and I really adored that.
And for you, Christina, Patty, she's a character that she always has a lot of restraint, has a lot of dignity, and obviously, the sort of arrival of her sister kind of maybe unsettles her. And you have some incredible scenes with Leighton. So, what was it like having her come on board and kind of playing the complexity of that dynamic?
We loved having Leighton. She was a great addition and jumped straight in with great questions and insights. And in some ways, we were saying she sort of problem solved some sort of things. If we were sort of all trying to figure out, how to emotionally move from one space to another, she had really great ideas and was excited to be a part of the cast. So she was a super welcome addition. And my first scene with her was a very, very intimate scene. It wasn't a combative scene. It was a very sort of tender moment, which was a nice way to sort of break in their relationship, to sort of give some tenderness and warmth before we got into the conflict. So that was kind of a nice way to start out with her.
And normally you don't like to sort of dwell too much on sort of like costumes and styling, but what I really like in this show is that they're often kind of belying something that's going on underneath. And, particularly thinking like the red dress reveal, when she's at her sort of debut as the Duchess, that feels very much like her making this statement and really owning her space. So do you feel like the costumes really sort of add to the character development? And did you have a favorite moment?
I definitely agree. And our costume designer was incredible and really cared about tracking the character's arc, which is always so helpful. And I think my favorite piece that we did is in the last episode where Nan is wearing what I like to call like the gothic emo version of her wedding dress, which I think is a real reflection of how she actually feels about so much the marriage itself and the trajectory she's been on. And then she's going out with a bang. I really love that look.
Yeah, and I think for
Did you have a
Patty,
favorite?
you know, we dive into a lot of courtroom drama this season, and Kate, our costumer, beautifully turned Patty's gowns and things into beautiful suiting, things that were a bit more conservative and professional seeming for her. But then we have these soft, tender moments where we see her in her dressing gown and the sort of more romantic, loving side of Patty, and then her public persona and her buttoned up look. So I thought it was a really nice juxtaposition to see different sides of her personality.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with
Thank
me.
you.
Huge congrats on the show, and I cannot wait for everyone else to see season 2. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
you.
Nice talking to you.